Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Podcast, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Let's take a look at some stocks on the move this week. With us is Bloomberg News Managing Editor for Markets Live. Joining us is Christine Aquino. Christine, what do you got?
Well, Carol, I'm looking at JPMorgan, still top of the stack in terms of the banks that reported today. That's up more than 4% in the afternoon session. And investors really liking that record stock trading revenue. 48% increase to $3.81 billion. That volatility in markets that we're seeing really paying off for JPMorgan. Net interest income also $23.3 billion. That's a 1% increase. So investors really loving that. But of course, we also saw CEO Jamie Dimon warning of considerable turbulence coming in markets, and looks like they're preparing for that as well with the money that they set aside for sovereign loans. That has also increased way more than analysts had predicted. $973 million set aside for that.
I was also earlier today watching what's happening in the chip space, because we got some news out of China today that really moved U.S. stocks.
Yeah, absolutely, Tim. I mean, we got some clarity from a Chinese semiconductor body, and they're emphasizing that the government will put tariffs on chips based on where they're manufactured rather than where they're shipped from. And so this is very relevant for any companies in the U.S. that are importing these chips. Texas Instruments is one of them, and we're seeing that stock down in the session. It's actually the biggest laggard on the S&P 500 today, down more than 4%, because I think that stance just really makes it clear that whatever the cost of importing these chips now, that's going to go a lot higher.
When you have a fabricator like TSM making most of the chips, right? Like,
can you just move that thing to Arizona, Carol?
Hey, TSM, just pick it up, boom, cross the ocean.
Just take those machines and...
Tain't so easy,
no,
Mr. Stenivek. No.
It's not. I've driven... So years ago, I've told you this. I drove, I think, 2022.
Yeah.
Driving in Arizona outside of Phoenix and seeing some of these facilities that were being built. And that was several years ago.
But it's tricky.
It's
tricky. And this is a big deal.
Tricky.
And this is why you see it playing out here. So glad you're looking at Newmont. It was one of the names that I talked about yesterday, and it chosen as a gainer because we've seen gold just take off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Record after record, it feels like.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're seeing that pay off for this gold miner, UBS upgrading that company from neutral to buy now. And UBS also upgrading its gold forecast to $3,500 in 2026. I mean, remember, we hit a record just over $3,200 earlier today. Gold really has been one of the most reliable havens in this sort of turmoil. I mean, a lot of the other havens that we've traditionally looked at, the treasuries, the US dollar, all seem to be breaking down, but gold still going strong. It's up 23% this year.
I'm looking at the chart right now. It's remarkable to see this. I mean, it seems like every day, Carol, we're talking about a new record for gold.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get it because, right, in terms of safe havens, right, and that is another one of the ultimate safe havens, and we've seen gold on a tear this year. When you were thinking about stocks on the move, before we wrap up, there was a lot to choose from.
Oh, yeah. A lot to choose from.
It's a different tone, right, today?
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, I think we got some late breaking news in the afternoon from several Federal Reserve officials. We did get some comments via the Financial Times from Susan Collins saying that the Fed is ready to step in. I mean, that's their default stance anyway, but I suppose...
Not that they're ready to.
Exactly.
It's just like, this is what we do.
Exactly.
And to be fair, she did say that markets are continuing to function well and that we're not seeing liquidity concerns overall.
Exactly. But you can just tell from the market sentiment, right? The reaction to that really helping those gains in the afternoon. It's just something that markets probably are wanting to hear at this particular point in time.
Yeah, super interesting that we are holding on to gains. We'll see what happens in the last hour of trading, whether or not that holds. Christine, so appreciate it. Bloomberg News Managing Editor for Markets.
The Stock Movers Podcast from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.